friend. I know today from the social media side of things that we've had Royal Marines fly from Canada, Australia, Sri Lanka, Spain, France, Italy, and a number of other countries, which again is absolutely fantastic, so thank you very much. So we're here today to show our support for Sergeant Alexander Blackman, a fellow Royal Marine, our brother and one of our own. Alexander Blackman passed out of training with the Royal Marines on the 10th of December 1998. He joined 40th Commando Royal Marines based in Taunton. A brief history of who Al is, because like many of you, I don't really know him. In December 2000, he completed his first tour in Northern Ireland. September 2002, he was promoted to the rank of corporal. He was involved in the initial assault on Operation Telic 1 in 2003 of Iraq. He specialised in anti-tanks in January 2004. He was promoted to the rank of sergeant in April 2005. In May 2006, it was his third tour of Iraq and Telic 8 with 42 Commando Royal Marines. In October 2007, has anybody seen the clock? And there's always one. It was on a while, doesn't it? In October 2007, it was on Operation Herrick 7 in Afghanistan. The 19th of December 2009, he married Claire. In April 2011, he went on Operation Herrick 14 in Afghanistan with 42 Commando Royal Marines. Whilst fighting the war in Afghanistan, Sergeant Blackman was posted to the remote command post Omar with 15 younger Royal Marines under his command. They lived for more than 6 months in a small mud enclosure, in appalling conditions of physical discomfort. Daily, they patrolled on foot for up to 10 hours in a large, hostile area where the Taliban were most active. And at the time, gents, for those of you that don't know, that was regarded as one of the deadliest square miles in the world. IEDs, or improvised explosive devices, the roadside landmines favoured by the Taliban, were a constant threat to the extent that troops seldom used their very vulnerable Jackal vehicle, preferring to patrol on foot instead. They were aware that hundreds of their comrades had already been killed or maimed by IEDs. The psychological impact was devastating. Firefights with the Taliban were extremely common. So too were deaths and life-threatening injuries. Many have stated that Alexander was not under any pressure. To put this into a little perspective, ladies and gents, overall 42 Commando during that tour lost 7 men. 45 were injured, many of them seriously injured indeed. On the 15th of September 2011, towards the end of their very fraught tour, Sergeant Blackman and his patrol were directed to an insurgent who had been fatally wounded by 30mm gunfire from an Apache helicopter. Horribly exposed in a known hotspot for enemy activity, they knew that other insurgents were in the area. They dragged the fatally wounded man to cover. Sergeant Blackman then shot what he believed to be a dead Taliban insurgent, who moments before had been shooting at himself and fellow other Royal Marines. Subsequently, Alexander was arrested in September 2012. He was convicted on the 8th of November in 2013 of murdering a Taliban insurgent in Afghanistan, whereby he was sentenced to a 10-year to life term. The sentencing was handed down by an extremely questionable court-martial. Following an appeal on the 22nd of May 2014, this sentence was reduced to 8 years on the grounds of combat stress he was and still is suffering from. He has now served 3 years. That's 3 years, ladies and gents. One of our own is served in prison at the moment, of an 8-year to life sentence. Alexander's current eligibility date for parole is at its best November 2021. Alexander Blackman had an unblemished career within the Royal Marines. He served for 15 years, serving Queen, country and its people on numerous tours in Northern Ireland, Iraq and Afghanistan. Subsequently, he was treated like a common criminal. Is this really how we treat our servicemen and women in this country? Is this really how we should be treating one of our own? Does our service mean nothing to this once great country anymore? We believe that this is a gross miscarriage of justice, and we began campaigning to highlight the errors made within the kangaroo court he received. Many people have worked tirelessly day and night trying to right this tremendous wrong, and as a result a parliamentary debate was secured after an amazing 107,261 people signed an online petition. This debate was tremendously led by Richard Drax in Westminster on the 16th of September 2015. This debate started an unbelievable campaign spearheaded by Frederick Forsyth and the Daily Mail to ensure that Alexander Blackman received the very best legal representation available.